Taylor and Blake are friends again. So the only real reason would be to get the story out there.
Everyone thought Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were friendship goals, right? Well, buckle up, because behind those adorable selfies and picture-perfect Super Bowl appearances, there's a dark truth, and it's way messier than you ever imagined.
She's my beautiful little monster. Sometimes I have to release these little monsters on the world.
What we once thought was a beautiful, empowering friendship between two unstoppable women, yeah, it's crumbling. Fast, manipulation, betrayal, even lawsuits flying like it's some twisted real-life soap opera.
Like it's Taylor Swift. He feels there's an implicit threat here. Like, this is a dragon that can kill you. So be very careful. Here's my pet dragon.
Every Instagram birthday shout out, every dazzling red carpet hug, even those Super Bowl antics, it all seemed so genuine, so perfect. But guess what? It was nothing but a carefully staged performance for us to eat up.
She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
Blake and Taylor sold the fantasy. Two powerful women championing each other, uplifting each other against a ruthless industry. The cozy girl boss aesthetic? Yeah. Turns out it was just another Hollywood illusion, polished until it sparkled.
Taylor felt that's kind of weird to say about a friend. It's weird to call a friend a dragon. And, Blake tried to say in her text message something like, these two are my dragons. They stand up for me when I can't stand for myself.
But what if it wasn't just a little fake? What if the entire thing was manufactured from day one? Behind every brunch photo and giggling selfie, there were cold calculations. Not sisterhood, but strategy. Pure, ruthless strategy.
We had a lot of question marks about why that was. And again, just her particular flavor and style.
Insiders are now spilling the tea, and it's nasty. Their so-called unbreakable bond? It wasn't born out of friendship. It was calculated, controlled, and weaponized. And we all bought it for nearly a decade.
Also, it says here that the CRD didn't actually fact-check the complaints to see if it was actually true. They didn't look into anything. They didn't investigate anything.
Fast forward to now, and it's chaos. Total chaos. Not just petty drama. We're talking 5 lawsuits. 5 lawsuits ping-ponging across courtrooms like some bizarre dodgeball game from hell.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie, It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence.
Blake Lively sued Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment and retaliation.
Did they do that to their own daughter? Silent treatment, gaslighting, doing the golden child thing where one child, okay, I'm pushing off attention from that one child and putting it on another.
Oh, it gets better. Blake slapped Justin Baldoni with a and retaliation lawsuit.
Did they do that to their own daughter? Silent treatment, gaslighting, doing the golden child thing where one child, okay, I'm pushing off attention from that one child and putting it on another.
Then Baldoni fired back with a savage defamation countersuit.
This is around the same time that he's making quotes that we have here saying that he's too big to fail at this point, and he just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood.
And then Ryan Reynolds, yes, Deadpool himself, somehow got dragged in. Then street relations got involved, and right in the dead center of the firestorm,
threatened, you could say, Justin Baldoni, calling Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds her beautiful little dragon monsters that she sometimes has to use.
Taylor, freaking Swift, because, and you can't make this up, Blake privately referred to Taylor as her dragon in a text message revealed in court documents.
Was because he was terrified of Taylor Swift. He was terrified of Taylor Swift. You don't want to go up against Taylor Swift when you are a guy, okay? Because she can ruin you. She can literally ruin you. She has these fans who hang on every single word that she sings.
And guess what? Taylor had no clue. She thought she was just swinging by Blake's house for a casual hangout, just besties being besties, no hidden agendas.
It says Taylor Swift is taking a step back from her friendship with Blake Lively after feeling like she was used.
And before she knew it, that casual visit turned into court evidence. months. Sources told News Nation and Page 6 that Taylor was absolutely furious. She felt played, betrayed. She didn't sign up for this madness.
An intimidation tactic by the actress in a lawsuit that she never wanted to be embroiled in.
Because, believe it or not, Taylor didn't agree to be the star witness in some messy legal war. She was blindsided, but it doesn't stop there.
An insider told the Daily Mail. Her friends also think that Blake's "I'm Khaleesi and like her, I happen to have dragons" text to Justin was uncool and unnecessary.
Apparently, this wasn't some one-off mistake. Insiders claim Blake had been name-dropping Taylor for months behind the scenes to pressure studios, to sway decisions, to push the sale of It Ends With Us.
As we know, she used her music. Taylor even played a part in auditioning Isabel Ferrer, as we know now.
Allegedly, Taylor's music boosted the film's prestige, and whispers say she might have even influenced Isabel Ferrer's casting, all without Taylor even knowing she was being used like a Hollywood pawn.
Saying that her and Blake are taking a break. They're no longer friends because, shocking, Taylor Swift feels used. She always feels used.
Taylor didn't realize she was quietly being positioned as the film's unofficial co-producer, minus, the paycheck. When she found out, yeah, Taylor took a nice long break from that friendship.
Were definitely true. The lawyer said that Blake believed them to be true. And that is a legal way to avoid being accused of lying under oath.
But wait, it gets worse. YouTuber Chashy Flow uncovered the original complaint Blake filed to California's Civil Rights Department. And guess what? Blake never claimed her accusations were true, only that she believed them to be true. That tiny legal loophole? Yeah, that's the difference between staying free and facing 5 years in federal prison.
She didn't state this was true. She said she believed it to be true.
5 whole years. That's what Blake could be facing if her story doesn't hold up, which might explain why everyone suddenly started using that careful legal language like believed to be true.
But also the way she used Taylor to pressure Sony, I think, to get everything that she wanted.
So now we're left with the wreckage. A friendship built on smoke and mirrors. A lawsuit where Taylor Swift was used like a chess piece without even knowing she was on the board. A PR disaster spiraling out of control.
Taylor has politely backed away from it all. She is conscious of her own image and hates that she was even mentioned.
This isn't just two besties drifting apart. This is the implosion of a brand, because that's exactly what their friendship was, a brand. Every curated Instagram, every candid moment, a sellable image. And guess what? It all went straight to hell when real life got messy. And if you're still dreaming about a Blake and Taylor reunion,
she can't always be being used. I'm sorry. It's been like 20 years of her being used, and I don't feel that that is the true story, okay?
But let's really dig into how Taylor Swift, literal queen of stadium tours, ended up dragged into 5 lawsuits without committing a single crime.
First and foremost, because it is just Taylor's modus operandi to constantly say that she's being used and she doesn't know how she got here, blah, blah, blah.
Taylor didn't sign a shady contract. She didn't backdoor a business deal. She didn't even send a messy tweet.
Okay? What do you mean you showed up and the meeting was still going on? What does that mean? What does that? I showed up and the meeting was still going on. So what are you being victimized by?
And boom, she's now a star witness in the ugliest legal dumpster fire of the year.
Justin Baldoni, in his lawsuit, stipulates that Taylor Swift peer pressured him, and she is not denying that in this article. She's not saying I didn't speak to him, I said nothing, which I would be like, oh, you just used me as an intimidation tactic.
Yep, according to News Nation, Taylor Swift has been subpoenaed. She's going to be deposed this summer by none other than Justin Baldoni's legal team. Can you even imagine?
Baldoni said that she specifically spoke up about how much she loved the script, which implies to me that unless Taylor Swift is a liar, she read the script.
That's right. Taylor, who can sell out entire stadiums in 90 seconds, now has to sit through hours of grueling legal questioning because her so-called bestie threw her name into a legal war like it was just another lyric in a pop song.
She is saying that she then went and heaped praise on Blake Lively's version of the opening scene. That's what his lawsuit states. This is when they were talking about that rooftop scene.
And honestly, same. Like when you crash at a friend's house, you expect snacks, maybe some gossip, maybe a terrible Netflix suggestion, not being weaponized as evidence in lawsuits about harassment, defamation, and retaliation.
So unless Blake gave her the nudge and said, can you go in there, in which case Taylor Swift is still responsible for having peer pressured him, then there's no deniability here.
Now Taylor's name is scattered across these lawsuits like confetti at one of her own concerts. And it gets juicier because Blake wasn't just fighting Baldoni quietly. Oh no, she went public and she went messy. Let's unpack that.
Whenever Blake needed an excuse, it was literally like, oh, I got strep throat. The kids are sick.
Remember that big civil complaint Blake supposedly filed last year? Fun fact, Blake didn't even file it herself.
So Blake Lively didn't file this complaint herself. Her lawyer did it for her.
Her lawyer, Ezra Hudson, did the dirty work. Not illegal, but shady when you see what came next. Because the language in that complaint, oh, it's so careful it practically tiptoes.
And instead of saying that the claims were definitely true, the lawyer said that Blake believed them to be true.
Blake didn't actually accuse anyone outright. Nope, she just said she believed the claims were true.
That is a legal way to avoid being accused of lying under oath.
That's called legal wiggle room. If everything falls apart in court, Blake can't be nailed for lying under oath. She never said it was true, only that she felt it was. Welcome to Hollywood Legalese.
That's the complaint that ended up being an article basically in the New York Times in the end of December. So that's where all of this started, and a lot of people thought, that was a lawsuit, but it wasn't. It was just a complaint that was sent to California Civil Rights Department.
But it gets even messier. Blake refused an official investigation by California's Civil Rights Department. Yeah, she literally checked the box saying, "No thanks, I don't want you to dig deeper." I mean, if you're filing a harassment complaint, don't you want someone to investigate, confirm it's real, validate your experience? Guess not.
Blake also refused an investigation. She actually chose for the CRD not to look into any of her claims. She didn't want them to look further into anything or investigate anything.
Nope, Blake filed the paperwork, then leaked it straight to the New York Times. She didn't want justice. She wanted headlines, no due process, no formal investigation.
Well, the CRD didn't send this complaint to the people that are involved. They didn't send this complaint to the Wayfarer or to Justin Baldoni. They didn't send it to anyone.
And get this, the complaint was so vague and flimsy, the Civil Rights Department didn't even bother sending it to Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, or anyone else Blake named.
It says here that the CRD didn't actually fact-check the complaint to see if it was actually true. They didn't look into anything. They didn't investigate anything.
Oh, and just so we're crystal clear, the complaint, it wasn't even signed Blake Lively. It was her lawyer's name, Ezra Hudson. Like, girl, if you're gonna start a war, at least sign your own name to it.
So her follow-up text, which reads like a psycho, obviously, I'm Khaleesi, these are my dragons. She said it because you did something, okay?
And let's be real, Blake didn't just accidentally call Taylor her dragon in a private message. That wasn't some innocent inside joke. No, that phrase magically appeared in the court filings too. Total coincidence?
He clearly texted and said, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to have Taylor Swift there to make me look at your edits. And Blake Lively doesn't say, oh, what are you talking about? Taylor Swift said nothing to you. Instead, she doubles and triples down by saying she's my beautiful little monster.
This isn't friendship. This is full-on PR jujitsu. This is what happens when your entire brand becomes about appearances and suddenly the mask slips. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Taylor is absolutely fuming.
She read the script. So she involved herself in the script of the movie. Unless she lied. Again, just backing up a friend. Yeah, what she said, love the move. She must have read Blake Lively's edit. So why is she backing out here? Very carefully worded back out.
Because when you find out your casual texts are being used as evidence in lawsuits, when you realize someone tossed your name into a firestorm without warning, that's not friendship, that's collateral damage.
He says to her, one of my favorite additions that you came up with was grabbing his director Paul Feig can be heard saying in the recorded commentary playing over the film.
A simple favor, behind-the-scenes footage where Blake Lively, completely off script, grabs Henry Golding's crotch during a take. No hesitation, full contact, no consent, no script.
And then he said, you really went for it too. And he's laughing, and Lively said, that's always awkward. Hey, nice to meet you. Can I grab your really hard? Not because I want to, but because I feel like my character Emily would.
And it wasn't some blink and you miss it moment either. Director Paul Feig confirmed that was all Blake, fully improvised, and to make it even more cringe.
So a source close to Baldoni is quoted here saying that this video will absolutely be used by Justin Baldoni's legal team in the case against Blake.
Now Baldoni's legal team, they are having a field day because how do you accuse someone of fostering an unsafe work environment when there's literal video evidence of you doing the exact same or worse thing and laughing about it?
I think she did apologize after that, but apart from that, she's not known for apologizing to anyone about anything. But apparently now she has apologized to Taylor Swift.
And Blake's camp? Dead, silent, no apology, no damage control, not even the classic context matters spin, just vibes, and definitely not the good kind. So what was supposed to be her smoking gun against Baldoni? Yeah, it backfired so hard, it's now a cautionary tale for every PR agent in Hollywood.
Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
Because if you thought Blake was spiraling, wait till you see what's happening with her husband, Mr. Ryan Reynolds himself. You know, everyone's favorite funny guy? Yeah, not so funny anymore.
The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real, and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
And now, Ryan looks like he's trying to quietly vanish. Fans spotted him at a Wrexham football game, you know, the team he literally owns. And nobody was standing near him. Not the players, not the fans, not even Rob McElhenney. Emotional social distancing at its finest.
I felt like it was very aggressive, I agree, and I can't fault somebody for wanting to stick up for their partner, but there were parts of it as I was reading it, I couldn't help but feel like it was a bit petty.
People are starting to whisper, is the Reynolds lively power couple crumbling? Because this was supposed to be Hollywood's golden couple. Good looks, perfect kids, sarcastic tweets about parenting. And now, one half is trapped in scandal. The other half is being quietly ghosted by an industry that once adored him.
Yeah, I think we've noticed over the past couple of weeks even, there have been a few clips that have come out of the woodwork essentially about Ryan that sleuths have found with some kind of problematic moments. And then there's also been the whole kid pool controversy, which definitely doesn't make him look great either.
So while Blake is busy dealing with her resurfaced groping video disaster, Ryan's standing alone in stadiums clinging to I believe like it's a life raft.
In now junkets. And he can claim jokes or whatever, but to pull random quotes of Justin talking about his teenage years and his growth and maturity and to try to use against him to label him a predator, which none of the quotes did. I actually applaud them for, even though they're not supposed to do it, for making the point to be like, nice try, Reynolds. You have your own quotes. Shut up.
Together, they built their brand on being quirky, charming, harmless. But now, one's a cautionary tale about fake victimhood. The other's realizing that when the world stops laughing with you, it's probably because they're laughing at you from a safe distance.
That a source told News Nation that they had worked everything out. I don't know how they made that happen, but because it's still obvious that Taylor Swift will be deposed by Brian Friedman in this lawsuit.
So now, Blake Lively decides to magically issue an apology to Taylor Swift. According to the Daily Mail, everything's worked out and they're good now.
I find that a little hard to believe because I've never heard Blake Lively apologize to anyone except when she posted something about Princess Kate Middleton when she was battling cancer and she was trying to be funny.
Let's just pause and really think about this for a second. Blake Lively, the queen of never apologizing, suddenly having an emotional breakthrough.
I think she did apologize after that.
And the so-called apology? There's no photo proof, no Instagram post, no cozy brunch selfies, no back on track hashtags, nothing. Just a whisper to a tabloid that they're fine now. Meanwhile, Taylor hasn't said a word, no confirmation, no vague working through it tweet, crickets, which tells you everything you need to know. This wasn't a real apology. It was a strategic PR move because Blake knows what's coming. And it's not pretty, because if Taylor walks into that deposition room this summer, armed with anger, betrayal, and a legal subpoena, oh baby, Blake's going to wish she had done more than whisper sorry to a gossip rag. And Blake's spot? Yeah, probably already deleted and blocked. No forwarding address, no fond memories, because how do you come back from something like this? You don't. Not really. Taylor Swift built an empire on loyalty, on honesty, on writing songs that bleed emotion, not on sneaky manipulation and backstabbing legal ambushes. And if Blake thought Taylor was going to shrug this off, she severely underestimated the woman who wrote Reputation after an entire industry tried to take her down. She's about to find out what happens when you turn the world's biggest pop star into your enemy. And trust us, it's not gonna end with a cozy Instagram selfie. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single update on the Justin Blake lawsuit saga. Because honey, if you think this story's over, it's just getting started. It's just